I am Zenobia Harris. For those that don't know, I serve as the CEO for the Kent Chamber of Commerce, and I've been here for 7 years, and this luncheon is something that we do each month to ensure our members have information to help move them forward. And so what we really have been focused on in the last 6 months, 6 to 8 months, is like the financial literacy. Most times when people are calling our office, the first thing they talk to me about is, Zenobia, I need funding for my business. I want to buy a building for my business. And it always ends with something about money, right? And so what we're trying to do is just connect you with the right people to ensure that you have that information and you have access. So this is a small curated group for a reason. I'm happy to see that everyone read my email and they have their laptop. This is about action. This is not about talking. Today you have the ability to have a resource or access to information that you didn't have before that can really change the trajectory of your business, okay? A government contract, in my opinion, you wanna make sure you have all your ducks in a row, right? And so while we are providing this, we are also gonna be providing some financial literacy that goes along with this. And so I just took a picture of it. I didn't have time to print it out, but you'll see it in your upcoming newsletter. And we have partnered, thank you to Cedric, we've partnered with Chase Bank for Coaching for Impact. And it is, for the remainder of this year, the last Tuesday of each month, we're gonna have a different financial series. It's gonna be held online, it'll be held in the evening. That way we can capture folks who are maybe working during the day and need to take the class during the evening. So it's gonna start on July the 28th, and we're gonna start with navigating your cash flow, okay? If you understand how to navigate your cash flow, I think you can make more money, right? So we want you to be good stewards of the money that you receive, whether it's from the government, whether it's from your city, no matter where you're receiving that. And so you all will receive that information. This is a free service. It's part of your membership as at the Chamber of Commerce. So if you're a member, this costs you absolutely nothing. And again, we're going to be working with Sheila Winston with Chase Bank, Chase Business Banking, to go over all that information. She'll do the entire series. We have one all the way from July ending the 8th of December. So I'm not going to be spending any time with you all today. I myself am a consultant and registered with the government already. So I know how this process works and can benefit you. So I'm going to allow Cedric. Have you been introduced, Cedric?
I have.
Okay, Cedric Austin. And he is an ally, I would say, not only for me personally, but for the Chamber and the work that we do. And I'm sure he's also happy to see that you all have your laptops, because what happens is we have these conversations and then no one signs up. I'm not sure why we're having the conversation if people aren't signing up. And so I just want to thank you. You're always sending resources our way, always sending, this is how we got the Chase workshops going. So I just appreciate you. And then I'll let you tell me a little bit about your background, but let you guys get to business.
So my name is Cedric Austin. I am the Community Engagement Specialist for the Department of Enterprise Services. My job is to be the eyes, ears, arms, and legs of the Department of Enterprise Services. You know, I attend events, I host workshops. I'm always on the move, I'm always on the go. You see me on LinkedIn, that's gonna be the only way you're gonna catch me, because I am constantly in motion. How many people know what DES is, or who DES is? How many people have heard of DES? That's about right. So DES is the Department of Enterprise Services. We are the lead procurement agency for the state of Washington. That means nothing to you. In plain talk, we write and manage statewide contracts that state agencies, so Department of Commerce, Department of Corrections, all state agencies are required by law to use our contracts. That's the simplest way that I can put it. For goods and services, which is the majority of the businesses in here, we typically do about $2.1 billion annually. For construction, we do about 800 plus project design build projects, totaling about $500 million annually. And in real estate services, we do about $180 million annually. So whether that's inspection services, appraisal services, property management, things of that nature. So there is always that. Most people don't know who DES is, so they don't know that we do all of those things. And so, let's say, what I said. If that says 400 million, they're wrong. I'm right. It's 500 million. So, like I said, this is part of a bigger workshop. So I'll try to make this as mindless as possible and as easily digestible. So when talking about doing business with the state and our procurement systems, the main thing that you are gonna add, that you need to ask yourself is, one, is the state buying what you're selling? Because we all would like to think that everybody's buying our goods or service. It's not necessarily true. So I can't remember the last time Washington State, bought a bottle of perfume. But I have seen Washington State buy massage chairs. So there is a wide variety of contracts that we do. Our contracts, our statewide contracts, are multi-award contracts that cover the whole state. And when you get on our contracts, you can select to serve one region. So like we're in Region 1, and it goes from the bottom southwest of Washington, I-5 corridor and up, and then out into 5 other regions. So you can choose to do one, you can choose to do all 5. What will happen from there is, if an agency has a need for whatever your product is, they will contact you, say, hey, this is what we're doing. I need an invoice, or I need a quote. You provide. They make the selection or a choice. Once you are on our contract, we are out of it. We write it and we manage it. So, is state buying what you're selling? Also, increasing visibility to your business. So you typically can do this in 2 ways, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. And also, where can you go to search for different opportunities in the state of Washington? 3 main ways that we make purchases. One is a direct buy. A direct buy is a purchase that any agency can make with a small business starting below $50,000 and below. They can do that between agency and them outside of us. We don't care about $50,000. It's crazy to say, but we don't care about that. As of September of last year, there is a tier that is now above that they can take the direct buys from $50,001 up to $100,000. Only caveat is the only businesses that can apply for that are Washington State small businesses and Washington State veteran businesses. Why just those 2? Because Washington State is race and gender neutral, so no contract can be given based on race and or gender. So that's up to 100,000, and like I said, so no web solicitation, so it is not competitively bid. Only way that works is there cannot already be a contract in place, because that would kind of defeat the point of the contract if there's a contract in place and they're going off the contract. So if there was an on-call plumbing service needed, there's no contract, for that. Roto-Rooter say, hey, we're here. These are the services that we can provide. Here are our prices. If there is no contract in place, or there is no scope of work that covers that, then whatever agency has the green light to go ahead and do a direct contract with you outside of us. They don't have to talk to us. They don't have to notify us. And once we get notified, it gets a little tricky. But yeah, so that is not competitively bid, like I said. So that's worked out an agreement between you and whatever said agency. Once we get into the agency contracts, that's where we start talking, get to the big money. And the next 2 are competitively bid. Typically in an agency contract, is you have a contract with, like the gentleman, you have a contract with the Port of Seattle. So your contract is specifically with them and no other agency. So they can do that from, they also can do direct buys, but theirs also starts at $400,000, $500,000 and up. If there is a need for a greater amount, or if there is at least an anticipated spend of at least $1 million a year, that is where we will write a statewide contract where state agencies all over the state of Washington can utilize your service. So they'll reach out to you, say, hey, this is what we need, please provide us a quote for said services. that is also competitively bid. Like I said, and this is for construction, so we also have small works roster for projects under 350,000, job order contracting for projects under 500,000. We have the edge, typically at less than $1 million. Have architecture and engineering. I don't think we had any architects or engineers in here, but we do have a on-call consultant list that comes out available for rebid next year. Here's a state buying what you're selling. That's where we get into WEBS, which is Washington Electronic Business Solution. So when we get in there, and we'll hopefully get to do that later, and you can get to this from des.wa.gov, because the question was asked earlier. Hey, there's a link, des.wa.gov. That is how you can get there. And we'll do a live demonstration, and we'll walk through it. And everything is put on there with the exception of direct buys, which, like I said, is outside of our purview. And if you need help, we have a customer service team that's dedicated to help you. How you're going to get notified, like I said, we'll get to webs, we'll talk about it more, would be through commodity codes, which I'm sure none of you know what commodity codes are, but you are very familiar with NAICS codes, because you had to do one to get your EIN or your TIN. So a commodity code is a cross-reference number for a NAICS code. It's just a little bit more specific. And once you assign those in your profile, anytime a new solicitation or a new opportunity is posted with that code, you'll automatically get an email that says, hey, there's a new opportunity, please go check it out and make your decision on if you would like to make a bid on it. So increasing visibility. So there's 2 ways to increase your visibility. There's one is getting certified through OMWBE, which is the Office of Women and Minority Business Enterprise. So they are the only state certification agency. They do state level certifications as well as federal level certifications. They are the only agency that can do that. Now, it's free. Yeah. But remember, getting that, race and gender neutral. So you ask, okay, so what is the point of that? Because Washington State is a proponent of the utilization of small, diverse, and veteran-owned businesses. They cannot give a contract because of those reasons. If they are put it out competitively for everybody, but let's say, hey, we would like to give this to a woman-owned business, or a veteran-owned business, or a minority-owned business. They can do that, but they cannot come out and, yep, this is only for this minority-owned business or a woman-owned business. They cannot do that.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
So who tracks that and ensures that there's equity in the process?
That's a loaded question. And then look, I can find a way to tiptoe and dodge it, because and like I said, I believe in transparency, and to answer that question is by not answering that question, because there is no real answer. Because I can say, well, OMWBE should be tracking it and checking it, and in a sense they do, but they do like a lot of agencies does. Well, we do this, but they're supposed to do this, and then they're supposed to do this, and somewhere in that shuffle, it all gets lost, and so blame gets put kind of somewhere everywhere. So we are working to streamline that process, because that is something that we have to talk to the legislature about. Our executive leadership, they go sit in front of them, and they have to answer those questions. And previously, it just has not been, I won't say it hasn't been a priority, but everybody has been kind of siloed in doing their own thing and not knowing what the other person's doing. So while OMWBE, they do certifications, we do the contracts and write and manage the contracts. Can we say, hey, Department of Commerce, we see that you have a solicitation for consultant services. You have to use this business, because you don't want government in your children like that, because then that's not going to work either. So we really kind of leave it up to them, and then at the end of the year when that report comes out, it's to the agencies to kind of answer for that. They tiptoe around it. They tiptoe around it, and it's been that way for years. I'm from Florida, so I don't know how long it's been that way, but that's the honest answer. A lot of times it's took around. I have asked the question of how do we hold agencies accountable, and there is no answer. Sorry.
What's a disadvantaged business? That's one of the things that plus.
So a disadvantaged business. That has become more of a federal certification term, and it's essentially a minority-owned business.
No.
That's essentially what a disadvantaged business is. Due to recent federal changes, they are making changes, and so now there's no longer a presumption of disadvantage, being disadvantaged. So when you apply to be a DBE business, there's now a narrative that you have to supply to OWBE, because they have to supply that to the feds of, how have you been negatively affected that makes you a disadvantaged business. So, and then the second way is for all my veterans, being veteran owned. Those are the two main ways to increase your visibility. Free, as always, probably the fastest certification that you'll get. It typically takes about 2 days. You submit your DD 214. Simple, redacted 214. They don't want to know your TDY deployments and all that good stuff. And so that is beneficial because, as I said earlier, we can't give any sort of contracts based on race or gender, but we can for a small and veteran-owned business. Some states call it a set-aside, we call it a reserve reward, but those reserve rewards are for small and veteran-owned businesses. Now, where can you find different opportunities? So, that's it, des.wa.gov. So if you haven't been there, that's going to be your website to go there, and then you're going to go to doing business with the state. Bid opportunities, contracts available for bidding. So, up under contracts available for bidding, the first one is going to be Webb's bid opportunities. The second one is going to be statewide contracts. And as I have so eloquently put here, Webb's is open contracts. So Webb's will show you the opportunities that are available right now. So right now, there's 6 pages of opportunities that are available. Wide variety of stuff, a lot of market research. I have pamphlets. I have some examples of some of the solicitations that are on Webb's. The second one it says statewide contracts, active contracts. So we have a total of 187 currently active contracts. Not all of our contracts are available at all times. That's a good thing for you, because if you know there's a contract becoming available, so let's say, I'll use plumbing again. If there is currently a plumbing contract and it expires in 2027, okay, that means we're going to start writing it in 2026. So we're now here in July. We are very transparent. So on our active contracts, you can go look at that current contract. You can see everybody who submitted a proposal. You can see their contract. You can see their pricing. You can see everything they submitted to win that bid. So how does that help you in your search? Is now you have data. Okay, you have time. Now you're not working against time, so you're not finding out about this a week or 2 weeks prior to it being due. You may know a year in advance, so it gives you time to do these research, so you can make relevant, informed choices and decisions, and see if this is the right way for you. And so that's on Webb's. So this is the UNA procurement portal. So this is where we post all of our public works or our instructions. Very similar, same way. That's a much better system than Webb's because it's newer. It still sucks, but it's newer. And so resources. So along with the Kent Chamber, some resources that are available. So you have Washington APEC Accelerator. Some of you may have known this as PTAC. They go by a new name now, Washington APEC Accelerator, and they are in all 50 states and however many territories we got, and some military bases. And they provide some of everything. If there's a contract that you're looking to submit a proposal for, they have business mentors that will help you along your journey. They can help you write your solicitation. They can help you, check your I's, check your T's, even when you're submitting grant proposals. So, as you have a grant writer, ma'ams, you utilize Washington Apex. They can, hey, just have somebody else look over it, because we know we look at things so much that we glance over some of the small things, and it's the small things that get you rejected. So, of course, Table 100, they're also a good resource. They are based out of Tacoma. They do, back to Apex Accelerator. So outside of the mentoring and the assistance with proposal writing, they also offer trainings. They have webinar classes, really some of everything at every level. So federal, state, county, and city. Apex Accelerator has one of the 2 most expansive calendars of events in the state of Washington for businesses. They recently just did one for truckers. Hey, if you're a trucker and you want to get into the government contracting space, they did a whole 2-week workshop on how to do that. They did it in person and they did it virtually. And so Table 100 does something very similar. The Small Business Development Center, even though it says federal, they do state as well. We work with all of these organizations. We fund a lot of these organizations. Business Impact Northwest, as well as William Factory Small Business Incubator and GSBA. And what I will do is I will send this presentation to the chamber, and please feel free you can share it with everybody. Everything that's in here has active links. So, and we're taking pictures, and it all has active links. We're not more on scan. Now, mind you, everything that I've told you is free. None of this that I've told you, or none of this that I will tell you, costs you any money. Your tax dollars have already paid for this. Use it. Public libraries. Public library has an expansive business resource and research tools that are available to everybody. What you do is get your library card, and these are the tools that will open up to you. Last time we did it, you are getting access to about $30,000 worth of resources and everything monthly that's available to you. Simply Analytics gives you about 80,000 different data points all over the United States. You got LinkedIn Learning, you have all of these things. All of these resources are available for you. They're free. Haven't used them because you probably don't know about them. So I hope check out your library, and it's a cool place to hang out. It's hot outside, so most of them got AC.
Except in Paris.
Super.
Except in Paris.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get a break. Okay, so so as we talked about earlier, Apex Accelerator. Fiscal.wa.gov. So fiscal.wa.gov essentially is a website. We talked about transparency. You can go to fiscal.wa.gov. They will tell you where your tax dollars are being spent. So typically in this first block, we do it in 2-year increments, so bienniums. So let's say if you know of a business that has gotten work from the government, that money will be tracked here. And so in this recipient block, it will have a list of every company that has gotten money from the government. So you can select their name. In this block, it will tell you what agency used them, and it will tell you how much was spent with them. Data. So now I know from plumbing business or consulting business, okay, hey, I now know Department of Transportation is spending big in plumbing because they building transportation stuff that needs plumbing up under it. Yeah, we'll go with that. But that's how you can utilize that. But an even better government stuff, what I tell you, an even better source is data.wa.gov. Now this is kind of specific to our statewide contracts because from here, while fiscal.wa tells you generally what agencies spend money with what business. So you don't know for what purpose, anything. Data.y, you can narrow it down to the specific contract. And so if you are a consulting business, you can see on our consulting contract, there's 35 different consulting businesses. You can see what agency spent money with each one of those businesses, or none of them. But the data is there. So now you went from, this needle in the haystack to you are refined, where you're looking. And so now okay, the Department of Corrections, they are big spenders in consulting. Let me talk to them. Let me reach out to them. So that's once again, how you can utilize that for them. Business.y.gov. So if you haven't started a business, if you're planning to grow, you need assistance running, business.y is your place to go for Washington government resources. It talks about, any L&I requirements. Does your business require insurance? Any business question that you have, you can go here and it will give you an answer. Evergreen BizLink. Now, there's a lot of resources that we do talk about. Evergreen BizLink is more of a community resource because from here, the first one that you see up here at the top says zip code and then everything else. So if you are a startup, grow your business resource funding, it will sort that information based on the zip code that you put in there. Because what will be the point of them giving you a resource that's down in Olympia or that's in Whitby, Iowa? So just as a small sample, like I said, I have more of an example on the table over here. So these are some of the current contracts that is on webs as of this moment right here. So real estate appraisal services, property inspection, DES is doing a conversion from fluorescent light bulbs to LED lights. Temporary healthcare staffing, transitional reentry services, catering pool. So remember the gentleman talked about starting a barbecue business. University of Washington, they have an open catering pool till 2029 to support 3 of their campuses. So definitely check webs for that. Here's some of our upcoming events. So the larger version of what I just gave you, the next one will be July 16th. The city of Seattle is having a how to navigate government contractings for the city of Seattle. So it's gonna be on the 15th. If you're interested in getting certification from the Office of Women and Minority Business Enterprise, they're gonna have a certification workshop at Table 100 building over in Tukwila. Also on July 16th, hey, Kent Chamber Business Expo. So, make sure that you are here. Make sure you come see his booth that he's so proud of.